Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Glowcrazy podcast. We are your hosts, Grace and Jamie. I'm Grace.
Hi, I'm Jamie.
If you are new here today, welcome. We are so happy to have you here. We're so happy you're tuning in, and it is wonderful to meet you. And if you've been with us before, you know the drill. Here's our gift from us to you this week.
So if anybody needs a new bottle opener, here's one that's a giraffe.
You know, giraffes are some of my that's like my favorite. That's a great gift, Jamie.
Really? Do you know
Yeah.
that there's a giraffe named Oliver somewhere on Long Island?
I don't think I knew that.
Some zoo has it.
I
If you
love
know what I'm
that.
talking about, everybody let me know.
Their purple tongues are crazy.
I, I know. And huge.
Yeah, huge. Love them. Giraffes and sharks. But anyways, we hope you enjoy your gifts and make sure you subscribe down below so that you can be involved with our gift every single week. Be sure to watch the video version on YouTube or Spotify, and you can listen along to the audio version on Apple Podcasts. You guys, let's glow crazy.
Yay! All right. Question of the week is, have you ever gotten your brows done? Ever. In any sort of way, whether it's waxing, a service, have you ever gotten your brows done?
Yeah, what'd you do to those bad boys?
Guys, I just laminated my brows, everybody. I laminated them on what, Tuesday or something?
Slay.
I love them, I have to say. And you know what? The first 2 to 3 days, they were so bold. They were so, like, all you saw on my face was eyebrow, which was perfectly fine. It was like all good. But I have to say, when it starts settling in and it starts like calming down, the whole lamination and the whole everything, they look really, really, really good. They look very natural. And this is the first time I've ever laminated my brows before. So I'm having a great time.
Slay. Well, you look incredible.
Oh, thank you. The
Live,
first two
laugh,
days,
love it.
I kind of had those like scientist brows. They
Mad
kind of,
scientist.
yeah, the mad scientist brows. They just stuck up, and I was like, all right, I did this wrong.
did you did you do them?
Yeah.
Slay. Look at you, Miss Brow. I'm so excited to like ask you all the questions about brows this week.
Stop. I love brows. What have you done to your brows?
I think maybe you've tweezed a few to help me, even them out when I go into your wax suite and I'm like, what's wrong here? Other than that, it's been just me since I was like 10.
What? You've never
Mm-hmm.
tinted them? I really?
Nope. Mm-mm.
Nope.
Nobody touches these brows.
Except for me.
Yeah, except for you and some tweezers occasionally.
Wow. Wait, you would actually thrive with a good tint. I'm not gonna lie.
And you know what? I do eventually want to add that. I think I actually mentioned before, I have a brow course that's sitting, waiting for me to take it. And it
Yeah.
includes like tinting, lamination. One thing that kind of builds up the nerves for me is the color theory of it all because I always see people with crazy tinted brows. There is a major waxing chain that some of us may know of where everybody walks out of that building looking like a crazy person.
I know. I know.
There's like three different colors that you could use. And
Yeah.
like I was
It's
straight up
literally
talking
blonde, brown, or black. And you don't use
and
black.
yeah, and I'm not hating. But I am telling you, I was talking to a waxer who works at this waxing chain, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I like straight up tell people you're probably not gonna like it." I'm like, "What? That's how
Better
you
to
know
be
you're in
honest.
trouble. It's better to
Yeah.
be honest as a pro." I didn't mean to. I did
Man.
not. I didn't mean to even say that. That wasn't on the plan for today, so that just came out.
It's just some ranting.
Yeah, sorry guys.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, no, those definitely depends on the tint and the color range. The color theory and the coloring for matching up tints is definitely um the hardest part about it,
Mm-hmm.
I will say. But
That's what I figured. That's what's a little bit daunting to me.
yeah. Yeah. Still
But I have
looks
a lot
good
to
though.
learn. I'm excited.
Still looks good.
Yeah,
Mine has a little bit of a tint.
they look incredible, Jamie
Thanks.
Jameson.
So, for this episode, of course, it is going to be very brow focused. So, if you are somebody that you look in the mirror or you go in the car and you look in the car mirror where it shows absolutely everything, and
Mm.
you just notice that you have no brows or maybe that you have really sparse brow, this episode is going to help you because we're deep diving in brows, looking at other services, and if you are an esthetician listening, then we have a few more services to teach you about. And if you do these, then comment down below your experiences with them because we want to hear what you like, what your favorite is. Horror stories, we're good with those.
Yes, we love a horror story.
Love a
Those
horror
are, well,
story.
maybe we loved discussing them.
Yeah. So we don't love actually when that happens.
Yeah, yeah. But I was like, there are so many services that have developed over the years, and the industry just keeps growing and growing. So, there's a
We're
lot to
so
learn.
excited.
And for today's
Yeah.
episode, it's just going to be lamination, brow tinting, and microblading.
So let's get into what we were just talking about. We'll continue with brow tinting. So does anybody know what brow tinting is?
Raise your hand.
Raise your class.
Use your indoor voices.
Library voices. So brow tinting. Really, what is brow tinting? So there is a semi-permanent slash temporary dye that we put on your brows to enhance the shape, darken your brows, and this dye is just getting the fine hair of your brows, especially around them, and it's going to increase the width. It's going to give the illusion that you have more brow than you do, and they'll look fuller. It's going to add a little bit of color, and I think brow tinting is everybody can get a brow tint. Everybody could get away with a really good brow tint, in my opinion. So that's one service.
Yeah, I can imagine that for sure. And common misconception about brow tinting is like if you don't have the brow there, it's going to like adhere to your skin.
Hmm.
So many people are like, oh, my brow tint came off right away. It's like, well, it adheres to your hair, not your skin.
Hmm. Exactly. Exactly.
And these are services that Jamie is actively practicing. Like I said, I'm planning on getting into them. So we are going to interview Jamie about all of these cool services and her
I
experiences
love,
with them.
I love
But
that.
which is perfect because if you're an esthetician that's nervous about tinting, there's no need to stress. Just learn your theory, know what you're working with, and you will have beautiful results.
Absolutely. I've done a few brow tintings. No, I've not done a few. I've done a bunch of them actually. I've done like a really
Ooh.
big amount of them. And I I'm still practicing. Every single time I do one, I think I still am I'm like thinking the technique I'm doing. I am seeing what really is working for the client's brows. And the other day I did a really good brow tint. I was so proud of myself for it. I didn't take a picture of it. And I was like, why didn't I take a
Ah.
picture of it? But it was very beautiful. My best advice would be when you are doing a brow tint as an esthetician listening, if you've never done one before, there's a little trick to make them just like look a little bit better, and it would just be starting not where the actual head of the brow is, starting just a little bit after it, going into the middle, go to the other brow so you don't oversaturate the brow with all the tint, and then you just kind of smoothly go into the tail. And then, of course, when you're done with the brow, go back into the inner corner of your brow. And sometimes I like to remove this part first. And
Mm.
usually, a brow tint, the process it takes to actually develop is about 6 minutes, maybe like 5 to 7 minutes, really. But I did 6 on mine. I usually do 5 on people with like no eyebrow hair kind of. And then I will do 7 on people with eyebrow hair because there's so much hair there and it has to like actually develop. Um and yeah, when it's time to remove it and it's time to um not all the way up to the 6 minute mark, but more of like the 4. Remove the inner, right? Yeah, remove the head of the brows just to create more of that ombre effect because I think that looks really natural and it looks really good and clean. And it is always okay if you mess up brows because there is a stain remover always, and you
Oh,
can
okay.
always clean it up. And my best advice is when you're waxing, wax after your tint because if the tint is on the skin and it's in a place outside of your brow, the wax will take off the tint. So then you
Wow.
leave with a really good brow look and the tint's not like everywhere. And if the client has oily skin, they're going to absorb that tint. The skin is going to absorb it and then you'll notice that the tint just kind of starts to get everywhere around the brows and you're probably going to be like, uh what the hell? Why is my tint everywhere on this client's face? Like, oh my God. Yeah, but no, that's okay. That's when you keep on going back in and cleaning up with the Q-tip and stain remover. And yeah, that's my view on tinting. I love tinting. I think it's such a beautiful service.
And that's great because I was thinking, because I've been really trying to think about add ons that I want to offer while
Yeah.
also, not being too broad, offering too broad of services, because I really want to like niche it down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I feel like that's great to tint. If somebody's getting a brow, lip, chin, you go ahead, wax the brow, chin. You're not really adding too much time, but you're still
Yeah.
elevating the client experience and elevating your income a little bit.
And that.
Hmm.
While the tint is on and it's processing and developing, that's when I usually go in and start waxing someone else's lip or chin or
Love.
anything because it's just, it's just there.
Yeah.
You should look at brow code or intensive. Brow code is super, super popular. That's the one that
Okay.
we use. It's very good. And it has
And
a
you're
nice color range.
love, and you seem happy with it.
I'm very
That's what's
happy with
up.
it. Yes. One thing, estheticians listening, you're never gonna use black. Even if they have black hair and they have black eyebrows, you're probably never going to use the color black. You're always gonna use
Yeah.
like a really dark brown because it's usually pretty dark.
Yeah. It's a little bit jarring, I could imagine, on
Yeah.
anyone.
I've used black one time ever, and it came out really good because that girl had jet black hair everywhere, and I was like, okay, I can't even use dark brown. You won't even see it.
Yeah.
I'm using black.
Well, and that's another thing too with right after you get a tint, a lot of people, even like you said with your brow lamination, you're like, oh whoa, like this is a lot of brow. You look at me, you just see brow.
Yeah, a lot of brow.
Yeah, like we always say with anything, trust the process.
Mm-hmm.
It will fade gradually.
Yep.
No need to
Yep.
panic.
So for brow tinting, when you're finished, or yeah, when you're finished, the client, if you're the client listening, do not get your brows wet for 24 hours. This is going to be for literally all of the services that we talk about today. Anything with brows, do not get them wet for 24 hours because they're not supposed to be wet. The development will just not process anymore. But it does last, a good tint will last about 2 weeks. And the first 2 days, like I said, are very, very bold. It's very brow. It's very, very brow. But then your skin will settle. You start washing your face normally. After 24 hours, you shower normally. And then it just gets lighter and lighter. And it looks amazing.
Love. I'm
Mhm.
I'm like I want to go buy my brow tinting stuff like immediately after this. You've fully convinced me to take the step.
I love brow tints. I was so excited when the chain that we worked at added brow tinting, and I was so disappointed when it just wasn't as fulfilling. But now it's very fulfilling.
And I don't know. Oh, you know what? I might have been at my other location down here. Oh no, whatever. No, I was in New York when I went on vacation with my mom, and that was when they were like, "All right, if you're interested in doing it, send us an email." And I didn't see it right away, and so they didn't
Hmm.
choose me to like be
I
one of
remember
the
this.
trial people. And I was like, "Oh God, I'm missing out on this opportunity." Oh, I'm so glad I didn't have
No,
to do that to my clients.
you didn't miss out on anything.
Yeah, unless like other than like just learning the basics, maybe, but
I get you
I'm
through that.
content. Yeah. Thank you.
you
Thank
you can
you.
learn that. Yeah. That's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love brow
So
tinting.
yeah, we're big fans. Big fans.
Yeah. So if you are somebody that is looking in the car mirror and you're like, what really do I do with my brows? Brow tinting works for everybody. I think everybody's a good candidate for brow tinting, but definitely if you have gray hair, fine hair, blonde hair, sparse hair, or
Mm.
just like really, really fine hair, and you just need something that will adhere to the actual hair, make them bolder, enhance the look, define the shape, then brow tinting is perfect for you.
All my pale skin, redheaded girlies,
And then,
stand
yeah.
up. Stand
Yeah.
up.
Our porcelain dolls, stand up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's brow tinting for you. Jamie, thank you for your
Yeah,
expertise. I'm so psyched for you offering
I
these new
know.
services.
I love brow tinting. You're gonna love it. You're going to love doing a brow tint.
I know I will, and because I think I've mentioned before, I've been getting really into the whole mapping and making mapping the brows a whole experience. So I think
Yeah.
that'll just elevate it even more. So
Yeah,
much fun.
that would be such a good experience. Guys,
Right.
book Grace for brow
Yeah.
service.
If you're in Effingham County, check out Go and Glow Wax.
The other
You want to
day,
be
guys,
my
Grace
guinea
called me
pig.
an effing yogi.
No, because you know what? I'm doing content for the yoga studio and I get on, I'm like, what's up, my effing yogis? My Effingham County yogis.
I love that.
I love our weekly effing yoga shout outs.
I know. I know. I know.
So good.
It's
Hey,
really
Effingham
funny.
County, check it out.
Hey, guys, we love effing.
Me too. You can't. How could you not? Ooh. Oh, I thought the whole powder compact fell out. It was just the brush that was underneath it. I was like,
Oh my god, imagine.
life is okay. No worries.
So, our next service is one I have on my face.
Yes.
So, this brow service started back in 2010, but as we know, it really, really exploded with popularity back around 2018. And a lot of people, a lot of adults did not understand the look. They didn't understand why we were doing it. They didn't understand anything about it. They were like, this looks terrible. And this is the service that we love, brow lamination.
Yes. It's funny. I was actually listening to a podcast. I'll have to find the name of it so I'm not just like not giving them credit. But I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about how, like the super, super feather brows. Hey, if you like it on you, it makes you feel good. That's awesome. But they were talking about how it might be one of those trends where, like, in 7 to 10 years, we look
Oh
back
yeah.
on the super feathered
Yeah.
ones and we're like,
Yeah.
ah.
Yeah.
It's like
We
the
love the
2016
lamination.
brows, like the
Yeah.
Anastasia dip brow.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, I was thinking, so a lot of people have like the cowlicks in their brows where like that's something that lamination can help with is like kind of making sure they all go in the same direction,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
Oh my god, yeah. Of
Yes,
course.
that's what
That is
I
one of
need.
like that is one of the main things that lamination helps is keeping the brows actually in place, and they're straight, but they don't have to stick straight up.
Yeah.
When you get a brow lamination done, um, this was my own personal teachings, was when I was doing my own lamination, I was kind of brushing them up, which is why I look like a mad scientist for the next 2 days. And I was like, oh,
Ah.
I wasn't really supposed to do that. I was supposed to brush them kind of up and to the side during
Okay.
the second step of the lamination process. So, lamination keeps the hair in place. It keeps your eyebrows in place by breaking down the protein in the brow. And then the process is applying a neutralized solution to straighten them and building the protein bonds and setting the hairs actually in place. So if you have super, super curly old man eyebrow hairs that just like stick out and they're like this way and they're this way and they're sideways and I just whack the microphone, the lamination will be great.
Oh.
Sorry, you okay?
No, we're good. We're good.
I'm like,
I just can't hear out of this ear. It's fine.
watching the eardrum. Gosh.
Headphone warning. No.
So I don't know if really everybody is a in in my opinion. I don't know if everybody's a lamination candidate, but my boss said that everybody's a lamination candidate, so I'm gonna trust her opinion. But sometimes I feel like if you are somebody that has more of a thinner tail and you don't have too much to give in the tail of your eyebrow, then lamination is not going to look as aesthetically pleasing as you may think that it's going to look. But that personally, that's my opinion, if
And
that
is
makes
that
sense.
because, they kind of go a little bit more outward, so it creates a gap that you'd have to fill in?
Um, I kind of just think that the tail ends could be a little bit more sparse. And yes, when you brush them out, they just create a few gaps. So really to fix that, you can be brushing them down the tail end. You can brush it a little down and the eyebrow hairs will still be in place. They're just going to be a lot easier to manipulate to do whatever you want them to do, which is why I love lamination. But I have fluffy brows. I have a lot of brow. And even my tail end has a few gaps. So that's why I'm like, all right, so imagine like a few gaps here, but for your entire brow. So then I'm like, is
Mm.
lamination really the best for you? So then that's why we also have these other services to offer you. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
There's something out there for you. Stay
There's so,
strong.
yes. Yes.
And I like, like you said, like it helps you feel more lifted. It makes you look more awake. Your brows look more full, sleek. But I
Hmm.
like the term brow blowout.
Oh yeah.
That is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. Yes. That's oh my God. I was doing research and a lot of people just refer to it as brow blowout. Or maybe that was like an old term, but I don't know. I liked it.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's like a nose pop rather than like a nose wax. Like brow
Hmm.
blowout, nose pop. I
Nose
love
pop,
that.
brow blowout. Yeah. Yeah. No, like really.
That's so fun. Now I'm like, what do my tails look like? Oh, I already felt the
What do
manning.
my tails look like? I think lamination is awesome. So lamination is one of those services that will kind of take away the color of your eyebrows because it is breaking down the proteins in it. So it may look a little lighter when you're finished, but this is also why a lot of lamination services are combined with a tint, which is also why I did
Mm.
a tint on mine. Have you ever done a lamination before?
No, I almost did.
So the first step smells like perm. It smells so bad. It smells horrific. And everybody that has ever gotten a lamination can absolutely agree. Because as estheticians, we have to tell them. We're going to be like, okay, so ignore the scent. It does smell like ass. It smells like perm. It smells like 1960s doing hair, like bad, bad, bad.
Like I swear I'm a professional, just ignore the smell.
Just it smells so bad. But it's okay. It does have a good result.
Yeah.
But I'm excited because now, and now I don't have to do my brows for like a month. I don't have to do my brow. All I have to do is brush them, which
Oh.
everybody, if you get a lamination, you do still have to brush your brows. So for a brow tint, you don't have to color your brows in for 2 weeks because the color is already there, but you still have to brush them. For lamination, your hair itself is a lot easier to manipulate, but they can still move. So I could still go like this and it won't, I wake up and my eyebrow hairs are down because I sleep on my face like an idiot and I have to fix them and brush them. But I'm not taking off the lamination, I'm just doing my brows.
Yeah.
So we had a client the other month that got a lamination done and then woke up and her brows were, normal. They were not normal, but they were not brushed up. And the client was like, "What happened to my lamination?" And my boss was like, "Well, did you brush your brows up? Because that's probably going to be the problem if you didn't do them." So you still
Yeah.
have to brush them, but they're just now a lot easier to do.
Yeah. So I guess some people may assume that it's like you're cementing them into place. Okay,
Correct.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Mm-hmm. Which you're not. You're not cementing them into place, but they will look that way because they're laminated. But you can still do whatever you want. Put makeup on it. You can brush them. I don't know what else to do with your brows.
You could style them like wavy. You ever see
Yeah. You
that?
can make waves. Yeah. When you are getting a brow lamination done and you know you're getting one done, do not exfoliate for at least 2 days beforehand because, and I mean like any sort of exfoliation, retinol, literally anything. And I'm saying retinol because I used the retinol. And then the next day I did a brow lamination and I burned my skin so bad.
Oh
It was
shoot.
red, it was tingly. It was like that for only a day, which I was like, okay, that was my own fault. It was purely my own fault to do that. But I'm saying this so nobody else does that too.
Yeah.
Do not exfoliate for 2 days before, and definitely don't do it the same day. And you could get back to your exfoliation routine in like 2 days. So we're 2 days after
Okay.
lamination service.
Okay.
Yes.
That's pretty funny that hey, sometimes that's the best way to learn, you know?
Yeah, it's messing up your own skin. Yeah, no, I get that.
And
Terribly.
another thing to keep in mind with the brow lamination that is a very interesting connection to make, similar to when if you dye your hair too often, you glue on press ons, you get acrylics all the time, you're going to weaken whether it's your hair, your nails, you know, whatever the case is. We love brow lamination, but it can weaken your brow hair over time.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Yeah.
keep that in mind. How often would you recommend getting brow lamination, and should you take a break after a certain amount of sessions? What do you think?
I think it is definitely good to take a break after a certain amount of sessions. I would probably say after kind of every 2 sessions, kind of take a little break. Um if you have the luxury to get a lamination done every month, then it's not that bad. It's not like so bad, but I would say definitely give your eyebrows a little break. And if you have an event that you know that you are going to, then that's when I would get a lamination, but I would get it like 5 days before the event. And
Okay.
yeah, that's when I would recommend.
Love.
So I'll probably do this again back in I'll probably do it in March, maybe April.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
For St. Patty's Day and 420.
Yes. Gotta
Uh
look
huh.
really good on those days,
Yeah, it's
specifically.
important. It's really important.
So, quick little story. I was literally telling Grace before we started recording, but I'm gonna tell it again. So, I'm new at my job, and my job wanted me to do a little.
Say hi, monkey.
Hi, Gigi. You want your brows laminated?
You look so beautiful.
You would look
So I'm
so
sorry,
good.
Jamie.
See, on Gigi, I'd use a black tint because that girl has jet black hair.
Yeah, I think that that would be good for her and her only.
Yeah, yeah. So at my new job, my boss was like, "Why don't you record a little intro video so we could post it on Instagram?" And you know, and I wasn't expecting that when I came into work, and so then I came into work with a beanie on, greasy hair, pimple patch all over my face. And I had literally just laminated my brows, so they were as bold as ever, as dark as ever, because I literally just tinted them too. And then I like walked out. I'm wearing leggings, which is fine, but I just like didn't look that great. And then, I get a little text and it's like, make your intro video. And I was like, girl, you could not have picked like a worse day for me. And then my other coworker was like, no, this is perfect. Like you look so good. You just did your brows. And I was like,
Well, Jamie, just so you know, you're your own worst critic, like we always say. And I couldn't tell. Like I said, I told her, I was like, I saw your little intro video, and she was like, oh, God, I look terrible. I'm like, I did not even think that for a second, okay?
there is nothing anyone can say that I have not already said in my head.
And that's the thing. I'm like, Jamie, take your own advice. You're your own worst critic. Be nice to yourself. Okay. Happy Self
I
Care
know.
Sunday, by the way.
I know. Happy self-care Sunday, guys. Don't be mean to yourself.
Yeah. But no, I definitely get that feeling of going into work and having to record content and being like, oh, okay, this is the one day that I didn't make myself look presentable.
Yeah, that exactly is what it was. Yep.
Yeah.
And it was like my shortest shift of the week too. So I was like, oh, I'm barely here today. Like, let me just dress, not good.
Like, screw
Why
it,
did I
short
think that?
day.
Why did I think that?
It's only natural. It's only
Mm-hmm.
natural. So, our next topic is microblading. Ooh. And there are many forms of microblading, but the service is semi permanent and it appears as realistic brow hair strokes. I mean, back in the day, maybe not so much. I don't know if you've ever seen like the OG brow microblading.
I know.
Uh,
That was just a block.
those poor pioneers who sat down on those chairs and got those brows microbladed. Whoa!
They walked so we can run.
Yes. Let me say, I
Yeah.
see some gorgeous brows. A lot. I have a lot of clients that are like, I like going to cleanse their brows. They're like, oh, just so you know, I'm microbladed. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
Wow, I couldn't even tell.
I know. I love that.
Yeah, it looks so natural if you get the right artist, you do your research, but it's super
Hmm.
interesting. All that pigment gets deposited onto those upper layers of the skin. So it's not like you're getting a whole sleeve. It's gonna, last your whole life.
Yeah, it's not a forever tattoo. It is just, semi-permanent. But it does last about a good 1 to 3 years if you're touching them up, which is awesome. Like microblading is one of those services. There are many forms of it, but it will change your brows. It will change your life forever.
Yeah, especially if you're one of those people who, I mean, I'm sure you'd be getting the service because you have sparse brows. You're losing that shape, but it really
Hmm.
lifts your face
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. It's literally imagine just having brows every day for the rest of your life,
all the
especially if you
time you're
don't have
saving.
brows. The time that you're saving, the self-confidence that it builds of just having brows again. Like there's a
Mm-hmm.
shape now, it's filled in now, it's way more defined. And yeah, microblading is awesome, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Okay, so the forms of microblading are powder brows, combo brows, ombre brows, micro shading, embroidery, 3D brows, and micro feathering. So we're probably, I know there's so many forms of microblading, but
Yeah.
the real difference with all of them is just how you, as the client, you want your results to look. So sometimes some may be more natural, more bold, more feathered, more bold, more natural strokes, and just, like the opposite of that, or a really good mix in the middle. So there are many forms of microblading, and it all just depends on what you want. My mom is getting powder brows,
Love, that's
and
so
my boss is doing
exciting.
it.
Oh, even better. That's so fun.
I know. For microblading, you need a specific something certificate, I think. You specific like I don't think you or I could do a microblading.
I know with NYIB, you have to like just take a separate course and get
Oh,
certified.
yeah, I would do it. I would do that.
It's really cool. I
Yeah.
think maybe way down the line, but it is definitely really interesting.
Hmm. So I was told
Um,
microblading is a service that um thins the blood a little bit.
mm,
That is one, it's just something that is involved in the service. So if you hi Violet, do you want to get microblading done?
she's like, oh, please, God, no.
Enough with the brow talk.
We'll give us some
So,
white brows here.
oh my
Slay.
gosh, yes, to match the rest of her face. So, since microblading is one of those services that does thin the blood, then prior to your appointment, avoid Advil, avoid alcohol, and then avoid any blood thinning medication.
Girl,
Okay, in case anyone's on. What?
quick sidebar, that reminds me. I remember being in college, going
Oh
down to get
no.
some piercings. You take a few shots beforehand because you're in college.
Right. Yeah.
I remember I went down. Oh, Nana, if you're watching, this is a lie. I remember I went down to the piercing spot. She got her nose pierced, and the guy was like, "Yeah, you know, you didn't drink or anything because if you did, you're gonna bleed a lot more because that's what alcohol does to the body, you know?" She's like, "No, no, no, no." He pierced her nose. It was like Niagara Falls.
Oh,
Like
that's
Niagara.
so bad.
She's like, "Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. Yeah, I didn't drink last night." Meanwhile,
Still drunk.
she's a few deep as we talk, you know, as we speak, rather.
Oh my
Yeah,
god. Oh,
yeah, yeah.
ew.
So, in that same vein, let's not calm our nerves with a drink before our microblading service.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, definitely avoid that. Definitely do not do that.
Yeah, and you know what? It has to be so common in college towns. Like, he definitely
Has
knew,
to be. Yeah,
you know?
has to
It's
be.
just rite of passage.
I mean, who doesn't who doesn't get plastered and then walk into a tattoo parlor and get a piercing?
Come on.
Come on. Come on.
It's natural.
For any of these services, when you do get them done, I know briefly mentioned before, but do not get your eyebrows wet for 24 hours. Once you're good after those 24 hours, you can scrub your face, wash your face, do whatever you want. And yeah, those are
Those are our brow services that we want to touch on this week.
love. In case your esthetician or you didn't know what else your esthetician offered, they probably offer some of these brow services. So talk with them, see which
Yeah.
one you want that works for your brows.
Do some exploring. Look up brow tinting in my area on Instagram or TikTok. Find a brow artist near you. Try it out.
Yeah.
But we really hope that this episode opened your eyes to some new services, whether you're a client or an esthetician. There's so much to try out there. So if you did give it a shot, any of these after this episode, please comment down below. Let us know what you did, what you thought. Send us before and after pictures so that we could talk about it even more on our Instagram. We
Yes,
love to talk
please.
about client experiences. Um,
Yes.
and yeah, that's our little brow episode for today. If you enjoyed, please give us a like. Click that subscribe button, please. And rate us 5 stars on whatever platform you're listening to. Uh, Another thing that's super important is sharing this episode with anybody who loves beauty and who wants to yap with us. There's so much to yap about, and we do a lot of that in this house. Be sure to check out all of our social media. It's all linked in the description below. And watch something else. Throw another episode on while you're doing the dishes or folding some laundry, okay? But you know the drill. Do something that makes you happy today. Drink that agua. Wear your SPF. And glow freaking crazy.
Glow crazy, everybody. Mwah.
Woo!
Mwah. Mwah.
Love
Mwah.
you.
Love ya.